Leb Acholi, welcome back to Chaka Leb Acholi, segment ni Kwan Leb Acholi. I'm Jacqueline Agulu Kot. On session number 80. Okay, yesterday I concluded the reading on the Ofirika clan of the Acholi tribe of present-day South Sudan, and today I will conclude on an extended piece to that chapter, which is the Agulu Kot mi Ofirika, which basically means the rainmakers of the Ofirika people, or rainmakers within Ofirika. Um, I'm not sure if some of you may know about rainmakers. I'm sure most communities in Africa are familiar with rainmakers. They're basically sometimes leaders within our communities or chiefs within our communities who may have that spiritual connection to our ancestors and also to a spiritual power that we may worship. It gives them the ability to call the rain when needed or stop the rain when needed. So having that power gives you control over your community, gives you that respect. Okay. Um, in the Acholi community, and I'm just learning this through reading. We have something called Kiri Kot, meaning a rock, a rock, or pebbles, basically, right? So it's a very significant type of pebble or a unique type of pebble. So if you find the pebble, it's mostly passed on within the lineage of chiefs or chiefdoms. That specific family, they're able to pass on this kitty cot. Once you have it, you would be the chosen chief with the kitty cot. So not only will you become the next chief, but you have that spiritual power that the ancestors will give you to guide you in supporting your community by being able to communicate between the worlds, the different worlds, right? The ancestors, the community, and also your gods. So the subsection on Agulu Kot Mi Ofirika covers that. I've read about Kitty Cod before in other chapters and within other clans about how Kitty Cod is passed down, how those holding Kitty Cod are able to secure the Kitty Cod in the first place. Okay. Sometimes if you find a Kitty Cod or the pebble that gives you that right, um, it may not work for you. You may end up losing it. That means the ancestors do not choose you to be the next royal chief. Okay. So once you have it and you're able to call rain on time or stop rain when needed to support your community, then your community members will support you and really accept you as their leader, right? So let's start reading on that. I only have a few minutes, but thankfully the section is only a page long. If you know anything about the kitty cut of Ofirika, or if you even have any comments about kitty cut or rainmakers, not only in Pajak or in the Acholi territories of present-day South Sudan, anywhere in South Sudan or anywhere in Uganda, anywhere in Africa, tell us a little bit about how um, you guys interpret the powers of rainmakers in your communities. Okay. Leave your comment under this video on Jacqueline Agulu. Please make sure to like, comment, engage with the platform. Follow us on YouTube. We are on YouTube as Chaka. We are also on Facebook as Chaka. I do also air this recording on my personal Facebook, which is Chaka South Sudan. Please follow me on all platforms. Okay. So after I conclude the reading today, I want to start reading on the very last clan of the Acholi tribe of present-day South Sudan, which is Magui. Magui is considered one of the centers, or is the center of Eastern Equatoria, in which most surrounding towns tend to travel to when they want to conduct business. And it's not just for the Acholi people. We have other tribes living in Magui as well, or coming to conduct business in Magui. Okay, so the clan itself is also called Magui, and the place is also called Magui or Magui town. Okay, so I'll start reading on Magui tomorrow, and after I conclude the reading on Magui, I'll find I'll find another chapter to read within this book. This is a very large book, and it would most likely have to be information on religions, cultures, chiefs, other Luo communities, and stuff like that. Okay. Okay. Now, getting into the reading on Agulu Kot mi Ofirika. Okay, the Rainmakers of Ofirika. Okay. Lajojo Johnny ngo igang mi Ofirika kotie idok ot mi lodulang wala lodulang. Uh, Madano mukene lungo bene ni kabore. Kakot mukene tie idok ot mi ramorok. Ilobo acholi kidikot katie idok ot ario kidman nakajui yelo widano. Andong atamo ni wek lok man peo kel anyoba nyoba ikin luok. Mi achiel mir wanen unu kit ma kot man obino kwere idok ot man ario. Mokwongo amiro neno unu lok ma kwako kot pa jo lodulang wala lodulang. Kala chien wane lok ma kwako kot ma ti idok ot mi ramorok. Mana ye yo mabe ma twero nyango wan kit ma kot man obino kwere idok ot mi lodulang wala lodulang gidok ot mi ramorok. Okay, so he's saying that through his research, he found that within Ofirika, there were two communities within Ofirika that had kirikot, that had the 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 I don't know if it's a pebble, it's a rock, a piece of rock um, that rainmakers often carry, which would signal to the community that they are the rainmakers, right? So they're saying that the kirikot is found with the Lodulang people and also with the um, I'm sorry, Lodulang and Ramarok people within Ofirika. And so then there's some type of dispute over which communities or which sub clan or subgroup of Ofirika has the right to lead the people or call rain. Since there's two separate groups that has this kitty cat, it often causes a lot of people to fight. It causes challenges and disputes between communities, basically, right? And the writer also notes here that he did not want to cause any challenges between our communities by putting too much emphasis on this challenge because up until today, there is a lot of challenges between our people, between our communities over land rights, over chiefdoms, latellas, and or leaders of our communities, right? So he leaves it like that, and then he goes into discussing the kirikot of Lodulang. Okay, la jojo choning regarding kirikot meaning Lodulang. Lodiro Ofrika o Wajaborane, Ikarma Jo Lodulang la Lodulang, Tie Kabino Gi Ludo, Wun Lokori, la Lokori, a ye mau no tie gi kirikot, Martin Odong Idok Ot Ming Lodulang. wala lo dulang. Wabiro kaneno malokan ni lakwat pateri kaye o kilo jolo dulang wala lo dulang gi lobo lo tugo. Kala chin en bene o dogo ruot pa jo lo dulang wala lo dulang. Kid ma wabiro ka neno idul mokene ma okara ngech te kwar pa chuli wacho ni ruot kot a ye miero o mak luak. Wan dong pe wangeo mabe pinga wan lokori no, I'm sorry, wan dong pa wangeo mabe pinga won lokori wala lokori pe o mako ke kun en onongo tiegi kidi kot. Okay, so he's saying regarding the Kirikot of Lodulang, um, these people came from Lowudo in Lotuko, okay, which is another tribe in present day South Sudan. When they came, they were led by Chief Oladit, or their leader called Lokori, and he had the Kirikot. However, um, there's another person named Lakwat Patege who brought the people from Lodulang, Lotugo, or in Lotugo. Uh, and he became the chief of the Lodulang people. Um, so they're trying to figure out. The writer is trying to figure out why he did not. He was not chosen as the chief, since he had the kitty cot, right? He had the kitty cot with him. Why wasn't he chosen as the chief with the right to hold the kitty cot, basically, right? Um, Okay, so he left it like that. He doesn't know why. He wasn't able to find information why he was not chosen as the chief, even though he had the kitty caught, right? The right to be the rainmaker for that community. Okay, then he goes on to say, oops, my earring. Tekwaro pajo Ofirika wajini inge topa won lokori korodong bot wode lokori. Inge topa rod lokori wala lokore. Daho mere magi lungo loti. Oh my God, what kind of name is this? Loti bai or wala loti bal? I can't read it. Loti bai wala loti bal? I'm not sure. Loti bai or makakot. Inge tapa ruot loti bai korodong bod wode Sibirino. I'm sorry. Yeah, Sibiriano lokori. Watin ma tie kachoyo book man kot puri tie bot Sibiriano. La piricot nyo a hejik hejik kirmajo Ofirika luongo kwere mi achiel i dog ot mi lodulang wala loduleng obedo fidel wala fidele. Inge to pa fidele la did Massimo wala Massimo lo mojong odoro la piricot. Inge to pa Massimo la did fermo icare odoro la piricot. Inge topa fermo icare wala icare la dit la baja odoro la piricot. Inge topa la baca la dit Carlo Massimo odoro la piricot. La dit Carlo Massimo oto ikin mwara a par bongwan i pira bongwan we bongwan gilok mi loin matie i Sudan. Dano pengeo ka en o wero kirikot mi lodulang bot anga. Tich pa la pirikot pa jo lodulang wala lodulang Roma kidma wabiro kaneno ne pa lo pirikot i obo gi kabiro mokenene. Okay? So that's how he concludes the reading on lo pirikot mi gina lodulang. Okay? They kept passing it on from father to son. First, from the person who had the kirikot to his wife. Okay, from the chief or the first person with kirikot, which is Lokori, the father of Lokori. Okay, he passed it on to his son Lokori, and Lokori um, passed it on to his wife. He was the first one to pass it down to a female or to his wife, okay? And then the wife from there passed it on to her son named Cibriano, okay, Lopuri. And then on and on and on and on, they kept passing it down to family members, basically. Okay, up until the Civil War of Sudan in 1999, the person that last had it was Ladid Carlo Massimo, who died during that war. Okay, um, nobody knows who. After he died, nobody knows who the kitty cot was left to, who had the right to the kitty cot, or to be the rainmaker at the time after Massimo passed away in 1999 during the war. Okay. So now he goes on to discuss the Kirikot of the Ramorok people. Okay, the Ramorok is the subgroup also of Ofirika. Okay, so regarding Kirikot mi Ramorok, te kwarapa Ofirika wajane, Kirikot mi ario tie dok od mi Ramorok. Duan wajane, ruot ajafa ayeo bero ruot, kot mi achel I dok od mi Ramorok. Okay, and bere okelo kiriko at man gi lobo lowudo. Okay, so they're all from lowudo gi bino ge kiriko. Okay, this is the second person from lowudo mo bino ge kiriko. Okay, so lodiro Ofirika o wajabora ni ruot ajafa kario beri gi kiriko chigi gumarach eno nongo peregi la pirikit la pirikit kitma wabero ka neno bodjo lodulang wala lodulang lodira Ofirika wajaborane mod dana ma polo bero ka tero kirikot ma gin onongo bod road kot mi lodulang. Okay, ka dana manok kono bene o bero ka tero kirikot megi bod road kot mi ramorok. Then chalo dana o timo kidman pien dana o nongo ruot kot mi lodulang wek cham o check weko cham o check I dwe mi pu. Gin bene o nongo ni ruot kot mi ramorok pe chwe kot ma duong. Chalo ruot mi lodulang. Ikara mi pu I Leb Acholi ruot kot kao miro yomo chwin luak en miro o yom chwin gi uh, igi o yom chwin gi igi. Duan wajane rod mi la dulanga da o bero ka yomo chwin luak gi chwe kod ma duong wek chomo check. I karma bero ka penyo nyinga mo weko mako ke nge topa rod ajafa anongo ni la dit Ofirika mo pe inge la dit Ofirika mo pe mangeo nying danoman. So that concludes it. He's saying here that the people of Ramarok also had Kirikot because they all came from the same place in Lotugo, Lowudo, the same tribe, and settled in the Acholi territory of Ofirika. Okay. The Ramarok people were led by Chief Ajafa, who had the Kirikot. However, he was not calling enough rain. There was a drought. They were not able to harvest. Um, so the people of Ramarok instead had respect for the chief of Lodulang, who was able to call the rain quite often. And so the people kind of depended on the chief of Lodulang, who also had Kirikot and had the ability to call the rain. He was doing it often enough that the people were able to grow their crops. They were able to feed their families and sustain their communities. But the chief of Ramarok, which is Chief Ajafa, was not able to do that. So when Chief Ajafa died, he was not able to pass down the Kirikot to anyone. There was no information on that at the time of this research by Saturnino Inala. Okay, so that concludes the information on the Kirikot and the Rainmakers of Ofirika. There were two main rainmakers within Ofirika from the Lodulang or Lodulang. subgroup, and then also from the Ramarok people. The people preferred the chief of Lodlang, who's also from Lowudo, over the chief from Ramarok, who's also from Lowudo. Okay? Drop your comments. What do you think? If you know anything about Rainmakers in your community, even if you read it somewhere, drop your comments. And if you're from Ofirika, if you're from Ramarok, Lodulang, or Lodulang, I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, drop your comments. Let me know what you think about the information we found here about the two Rainmakers and Kitty Cut. I feel as if the Kitty Cut, the way it works and the way it did work back in the day, as I can recall, is that sometimes the Kitty Cut, you would know once you find it, right? It looks very unique. Once you find it, it's basically a sign from God or our ancestors, basically, um, pretty much telling us that they chose you to be a rainmaker or to be in possession of the kitty cut, right? Or to be in the same vicinity of the chief in charge of calling rain. Some people keep it and they're able to be the chosen ones. Some people take it to a chief to give him that power to call rain. I say this because my brother King, I think he spoke about it before in one of our recordings. He said he did find one before. I think it was in Pajok, in South Sudan, where he found one. Instead of keeping it, he gave it to. I can't remember who he said he gave it. I think he gave it to one of our chiefs. I was like, why did you give it away? That was, that was a sign for you, right? That meant the ancestors had chose him to be a rainmaker as well. Okay, so rainmakers are significant in our communities because they hold that power to communicate between worlds. They can call the rain, they can stop the rain, they can use it for good, and they can also use it for bad, right? They can control their communities by imposing fear, saying, hey, if you don't do this or do that, or if you don't pay your taxes, I won't call the rain or something like that. Or even cause it to rain so much that it may flood, right? So there's different ways in which certain chiefs use the rain or kirikot, the ability to call the rain. Um, and then, but the people eventually will be able to analyze which chiefs are chosen by the ancestors based on how the chiefs act when they have that power. Okay, so it's a social contract with the people, the community, um, and I think we still have that within our chiefdoms, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm not too keen on that. If you know anything about rainmakers in Acholi territories in South Sudan, please drop your comments. Okay, let me know what you think. Like, comment, share. Until tomorrow, I'll start reading on Magui tomorrow. I don't know too much about Rainmakers, but I was happy to read that. Please, please, please like, comment, share. Chagi Leb Acholi on YouTube, Chagi Leb Acholi on Facebook, Chagi Kang on Chagi Kang South Sudan on Facebook is my personal page. Apo Amatek. Have a good night. Thank you so much, guys. Bye bye. Good night.